Hi, class. So today I decided to host a little info session here to kind of go over the guiding values 5Rs essay that is due next Sunday. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Sorry, it's taking a minute here. And here it is. So if you go down here from week 1 and you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you are going to find the writing prompt for the Guiding Values 5R essay. You can see it's 1,500 words, which is around 4 pages, and it is going to be due July 25th. The concept of this essay is really to focus on the guiding values of American Indian medicine. Dr. Gonzalez, who designed this course, identified our guiding values to be respect, reciprocity, relationship, responsibility, and regeneration. And these can be found on page V111 of the Roman numeral 8 of the e-textbook. So just a real quick comment about how you will be graded for this essay is it is a 5-paragraph essay. Each paragraph is going to be worth 35 points. You are allowed to write more than 5 paragraphs, but if you do, they will be subcategory under one of these paragraphs where you'll be graded. Do prefer MLA, APA, or Chicago, whichever one you prefer. Each one of these links will take you to the Purdue online writing lab in order to look up how to appropriately format your paper in any one of these citation areas. So what you'll want to do is you'll probably want to start right about here to format, and you'll want to go ahead and copy all the way down to paragraph 5 and put it into a document, because this is essentially your outline for your paper. If you've never worked with outlines, I highly suggest that you do work with outlines. It just makes the writing process a lot easier. You know what is going to be the beginning, middle, end of your story. It's just kind of like a map for you when you write papers. Of course, when you do write papers, you don't really focus on the thesis first. What you really do, or the conclusion, those are of course written first. You focus on these 3 parts. And then once you have a clear understanding of what your 3 parts are going to be, then you can form your thesis. So let's talk about paragraph 2. You know your intro paragraph can be the intro and the thesis. But paragraph 2 right here is really going to start your paper off. And the writing prompt says, summarize the article you selected. So obviously you're going to select one of the articles from this week regarding anything that you found interesting. I'm going to go ahead and say that you can also cite a movie if you'd like. Just cite one of these sources. So I will update this to say source, and I will do that as soon as I get off of this call after the Zoom meeting. So go ahead and summarize one of the sources you've selected and connect it with one of the guiding values for the American Indian Wellness class that we have going on here. So I really want to talk about these 5 R's because this is what separates American Indian medicine from Western medicine. The concept of respect, you can obviously Google each one of these words, is a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements, and due to the regarded feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others. So admiration is one of the synonyms. For Native peoples, this concept of respect is not only something that we carry among human beings, but also a respect for water, a respect for plants that we use for medicine, respect for the earth. So we extend this theory of respect to what the animal kingdom, plant nation, and also to inanimate objects such as rocks, water. We believe those are animate. We believe that those do have a spirit and deserve respect. The next R on here is reciprocity. So if we go ahead and Google reciprocity, you'll find here it's the practice of exchanging things with others for mutual benefit. So giving at the same rate that you receive. And if you notice, this is again for Western medicine or for Western peoples, this may only be human for human. There's a pilgrim, an indigenous person, he's giving him, I don't know, a piece of paper, and he's giving him a lobster. Again, Native peoples, we actually probably don't need this other guy. We could just do it with these two, and there'd be a reciprocal relationship between the foods that we eat and also ourselves. So this idea of reciprocity, we extend this to other human beings. We also extend this reciprocal relationship to animals, to water, to plants. And hopefully that will start making more sense in more of the readings that you are taking on in this class. This reciprocity will automatically lead us to the next R, which is relationship. And reciprocity is a relationship. It's a mutual relationship. A relationship in general is the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected, or the state of being connected. In Native culture, we have a saying, all my relations. And that is a belief that in order to achieve a perfect balance health-wise within your physical health, mental health, emotional health, and spiritual health, that there is also a balanced relationship with the earth that you stand on, with the water that you drink, with the people who you love, with the people who you invite into your life, with all of your spiritual guidance. So the relationship isn't just a relationship within oneself. It's a relationship with oneself in relation to everything around, including the water, including the land, including all the people. The next R is going to be responsibility. And I believe Dr. Wildcat talked about this. There is a lot of talk about rights, especially with these social justice movements. We have these rights, women have rights, natives have rights, or what have you. We'll say that. But there are some Native people, and this is what we want to focus on in this class, such as Dr. Wildcat, who speak about not as much of our rights as our responsibilities, as we have to respect our responsibilities as caretakers of this earth. And so a responsibility is the state or fact of having a duty to deal with something. So it's not really our right to access the Missouri River. It is our responsibility as Native peoples to take care of the Missouri River. We're responsible for that river. Just by being born, we've become responsible for it, to make sure that nothing happens to it, to make sure that we can use it for the next 7 generations. And not just humans, but that other life forms and other life beings, such as the rocks and the canyons, that they are also able to enjoy these places. And so shifting that idea of rights, it's our right to do something, to it's our responsibility to do something, is a guiding value in American Indian medicine. And the final guiding value in this class, and I'm sure that there's other, guiding values for other classes that, these are just the ones that we have for this class, that have been identified by Dr. Gonzalez in the main textbook that we're supposed to be reading, is this concept of regeneration. Now, regeneration is the action or process of healing and actually regenerating a part of your body. So if something is broken, like here, they have a worm, it cuts. You can cut the head, you can cut the trunk, you can cut the tail. And the regeneration process is actually the worm will actually grow a new trunk and a new tail. Or if the parts are right here, it will actually grow a new head and a new tail. Regeneration is the concept of not only healing, but also coming back stronger. It's healing in such a way that it's almost better than before. If it's definitely as good as before, but regeneration happens when something's broken, such as American Indian cultures, American Indian languages, American Indian medicinal practices. One could argue that these are all in the process of healing, since the active destruction of them during the colonization process. But that while we are coming back to our traditions, that while we're coming back to embracing our traditional medicine ways, our traditional languages, our cultures, that in this regenerating process, this process that we are healing, that we come back stronger than we were before. It's never going to be 100% the same of what it was, but it can be something different and better and more suited to us during this time in the 21st century with all this technology. So those are the concepts of the 5 R's. And what we want you to do for this first paragraph is to take one or all 5 of them and apply it to the source of your choosing. And so I chose, just as an example, Dr. Gonzalez's, because, I really do love Dr. Gonzalez. I greatly respect her. And so this is the article that she wrote, which is the foreword for her Red Medicine book. And Spider Woman Called Upon This Knowledge. It is actually one of the first readings from, I think it was on Monday that this was assigned. Let me make sure. Yeah, right here. So it was assigned Monday. And just go through here and see where the history begins with an offering of cotton and Macatha. You see, that's respect. That's respect. So Dr. Gonzalez exhibits, the concept of respect when she begins her article. The history begins with an offering of cotton and Macatha. Respect is, let's go and look back and define what respect is. So respect is a feeling of deep admiration for something and their abilities. And so we're going to go ahead and copy and paste this and put it over here. Respect is this kind of thing. And the example that I show of respect is right here. And of course, I'm just doing this just to show you, I really hope that you guys pick better examples than I do, because I'm just picking the first sentence, that history begins with an offering. And so history begins with an offering, and how this shows respect is this shows respect for down to the rebirth spider inside these stories. So this is respect for the tradition of storytelling. This is respect for the plants, for the winged animals, for the culture, you know, and this demonstrates respect for the culture, for storytelling, for plant nation, for animals, or whatever have you. Okay, so then the next paragraph, it says here, how can you use these guiding values of framework for your educational? So this is where you break away from the class and you start focusing on yourself and where you are in your education. And I am going to pretend like I'm in nursing. And I think that nursing, how can inform with interacting with individuals? I think that maybe in nursing, we can really think about this responsibility concepts, and maybe also regeneration are just going to be the things that I'm going to really focus on. And so how we can look at responsibility is for nursing, you know, caring for people is my responsibility. It's really a responsibility for everybody, right? Caring for people is a responsibility for everyone. It's not a right. And I take this responsibility very seriously to care for my people, to not only care for them, it's you know, as a responsible nurse, it's, you know, it's important that I also know all of the latest ways to heal people. I know, you know, different cultures, how different cultures, it's my responsibility to know different cultures. How different cultures view healing. Regeneration, when, you know, when people are healing, the concept of regeneration can help me understand the healing process for my patients. You know, maybe just explaining that concept of regeneration, that it's not over, that they can come back stronger. Maybe just that in itself can make you a stronger person, can guide you in your work better. And then this last paragraph is going to talk about your intent. So henceforth, you know, I intend to incorporate concepts of responsibility and regeneration into my studies in nursing, no matter what department I'm in. I'm sure we're right in here in a, you know, a Mexican American Studies class, but we can take this to public health. We can take this knowledge to the College of Medicine. So whatever kind of statement of intent. So now that you have these three ideas of what your paper is going to be about, now you can write your thesis. And this paper will attempt to explain how the guiding values found in Dr. Gonzalez's Red Medicine article can transfer or translate to my field for me to take with always. I don't know. However you want to write your thesis, it's probably going to look something like that. And you know, this is just an outline. I'm just trying to give you ideas about how to do your outline. But anyway, this is how maybe I would write this paper.